Hello everyone, my name is Dhruv and today I'm presenting MVP for Agent Builder project. So I tried to create a comprehensive agent builder like ChatGPT Agent Kit. I mainly focused on the basic nodes in initial phase, and I created architecture such that everything is modular so that we can add more nodes later on. So this is a basic layout for my agent builder. Here you can create a new agent workflow from here. You can save it or you can load already saved workflow. Then this is a node panel where you will see all the different nodes. The right hand side panel is for the settings of the node. When you select a node, it will show you the settings. And this is an execution tab, which will only enable when there is a execution of a workflow. And then there is a credentials tab where we can store and reuse our credentials. Uh, for example, as you can see, I stored one of the Grok API over here because I used LLM node. So to call LLM, we require API key, which I already stored it over here. Let me show you how I can store it. So you just have to give an appropriate name for your API. Let's say demo API key. You can store any credential for API key or LLM key, anything. And it is a type for it, API key. And secret is, let's say I just copy paste a demo API key and I click on add credential and it will get added over here. And then, for example, let's say API request node has a setting to select credentials. So if I go to uh, API request node and if I click on settings, it will show me all the settings. And if I click on credential, I will see the credential demo API key. So now as I don't require, I'll just delete the API from here. And then this is a workflow tab where you can see all your saved workflow. You can either delete it or you can open a workflow. For example, let's say this is a workflow which I created early on. If I click on open, it will create the workflow over here. Yep. Yeah, you can see the workflow is properly saved. Okay, let me just reload it. So we will start from scratch. So I also created one chat interface where we can give appropriate prompt and create a workflow. It's not that much proper yet, but it will make a basic workflow. So first of all, I'll show you one basic workflow. I'll build that manually and then I'll try to build that same workflow with the chat interface. So like I'm just taking very vague scenario over here. I don't have any other nodes where I have like Google Docs API or something. I wanted to do it, but due to lack of time, I couldn't. But I'll add that node later on in this project. So I'm going with the scenario that I'm just gonna take one input node and one trigger node, which is a manual trigger to run the workflow. We can also run a workflow from over here. This trigger node, I'll join it over here with this one, and I'll give this. This is basically a input node. Whatever input you want to give to a next node, you can just provide it over here. Uh, I'm just going to say dog name max. Okay, and after that, I'll take one API request node. I'll connect my input node to the API request node. So my when the workflow will run, it will pass on this particular value to the API request node. Now click on API. I'll click on API request node, and I selected this JSON placeholder open API where they don't have any credentials or something. So which will just give me this kind of user details, a random user details. The method is get, and yeah, everything else is right. I don't need any body, so it's gonna be okay. I also don't need a header, but even if it goes with the request, it's gonna be fine. So once this is done, uh, and once this is done, I'll take one LLM node because here I'm trying to take dog name, and after API request I will get the details of a owner, and then I'll get tell LLM to generate a 50-word summary for it and give it as output. So I'll connect LLM node with here LLM, and then I'll set it up the LLM. I use the Grok API, which has a lot of models, so I just listed it over here. I'll select Llama instant model credentials. I already stored it as I shown you before earlier in this video. So I select the Grok API key, and then I can select temperature prompt as usual. I'll just add a prompt. I also already created a prompt over here. We just say that create a 50-word description that combines the owner information with the given dog name, forming a natural engaging paragraph that introduces both the dog and its owner. Once this is done, I'll conclude this workflow with output node, and then connect the LLM output to the output node. Okay, so my node is almost ready, and I also added some validations. Let's say if I just try to run the node right now, it will say that I have to save the workflow first. So okay, I'm gonna save it, and then let's say dog owner description generator, then I'll save it. And as soon as I save it, it will say workflow saved. And if I go to workflow, I will see my new workflow listed over here. Okay, now as the workflow is saved, we will go ahead and then try to run the workflow. We can run it from here as well as here as well. So I'm click over here. So workflow has been completed. And if you see every node over here is green, and in the execution I will see all the execution I do for this workflow. For example, this is the first one. If I just run it one more time, it will show me one more execution. Let's say I'll open this one. After opening this one, it will show me all the details of that particular workflow, like the timing and stuff. And then when I click on each node after selecting that execution, I will see the state of that particular node for that particular execution. So let's say for the API, I click on API request, and then I will see the entire details and the state of the API node while while running this particular execution. So the input for API request was dog name Max. As we can see, the input is there, and then the response or the output of API request was the response of the API, which is this one, Lane Graham. And if you see in the API, it says Lane Graham. So after that, let's see what was the output for the LLM node. If I click on LLM node, you will see the entire output of API request is passed to the LLM node. And if I go below here, you will see the response of the LLM node, which is passed to the output node, and an output node will just show us the 50 word summary that we asked LLM to do it. And here you can see mate, Leongram, a passionate dog lover, and blah blah blah, whatever the description is. So as you can see, our workflow is successfully completed. Uh, Now let's try to build this same workflow. I'm gonna click on new, and then I'm gonna try to create the same workflow with a simple prompt. So let's see if the AI is able to make the same workflow or not. So I pasted the prompt, which just says that create a workflow where the input node is random dog name such as Max, and call this API to get the owner details and generate a 50-word summary. So I'm gonna generate a workflow, and as you can see, it just generated in seconds. So I guess this is the same kind of workflow that I created the manually, and right now LLM created by itself. Uh, but let's go ahead and see each and every setting. So here it says dog name. I have to set it by myself, I guess. So the LLM just set the default value. So dog name such as dog name is X. Then I'm gonna click on get owner data node, which is basically the node where we are calling this JSON placeholder API. And as you can see, LLM by itself added the API URL and also a method, and it knows that it does not require header and body, so it did not selected anything. So this is completely fine. Now I go to generate introduction, which is the LLM node. LLM settings are open, and as you can see, it selected LLM instant by itself, and the prompt is also generated by LLM itself, and everything is set it up. So now I'll just I guess that temperature is not properly set by the LLMs, because 0 is not a proper value. So I'll just select the grok API key and keep it as 0.5, and everything else seems good to me. So output node is also good. So I'm just gonna save this LLM generated. So once I save, I'm gonna try to run this particular workflow. Let's see if it is running or it's failing. So nice, it ran in the first attempt. And let's see what output we have in the output node. Okay, so here is a 50-word intro about the node data. So I guess the prompt was not proper for the LLM node. So I guess that's where it's bugging out. We'll try the same prompt I gave while doing the manual workflow. And then, yeah, and then we'll try to run it. But yeah, there is one more point. So as I am right now in the execution mode, in the execution mode, you cannot edit any of the settings. So right now, as even if I paste something over here, if I go somewhere else, it will not allow me to change any setting, because if we are in execution mode, it will call it as a view mode, and in a view mode, we cannot do anything. So to change particular setting over here, first of all, and even if I, for example, in execution mode, try to save it, it will tell me that cannot save workflow. Now to save or to change any setting, I first of all have to go back to the edit mode. Then I go to settings, click on LLM. I'll change the particular prompt. Then I have to save it first of all before running it. And once it is saved, I can run it one more time. And here is the output. Let's see. And here you can see it generated proper the name Max and everything, and it also used the data which came from the API. So this also ran successfully. Now one more thing, that the execution does not only show the success. Let's say, for example, I go to LLM node settings, and I select I deselect particular API key, and then I save workflow. Once it is saved, I will go to execution and try to run it. So if you will notice that here you will see a red particular border around the LLM node, which will inform us that that particular node failed. And if we click on that particular execution and click on that LLM node, it will show us what exactly failed over there. So this is so that's it. I am planning to add more proper chat interface where user can just give prompt and it will make a workflow like I already portrayed over here. But I am trying to add memory and continue a chat, because right now I can just give a prompt, it generates a particular workflow, and then my chats are not being saved. And I'm also planning to add a more nodes particular for particular use cases, such as for Google use case, Google Docs, and a lot of other stuff. All other nodes are also working. So that's it. Thank you for watching.